Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio, for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Cheryl, W5MOO, Russ, K5TUX, and Bill, NE4RD.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome. You have tuned in to episode number 581 of Linux in the Ham Shack, the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. And we are all together tonight because it's a weekender. It's going to be our wrap-up, if you will, of Hamvention 2025. So we will get into that here briefly. But before we do, we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD.
All right. I didn't have to do the on-assignment thing. Hey.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so we will not be, well, we can make the spinny sound. And, of course, it landed on Hamvention 2025. Yay.
Yeah.
Amazing how that worked out, yeah. So I'm not going to start off. Who wants to start off?
Oh, that went like really silent really quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's like, I'm not going to start. And that was it.
Yeah, that was like,
you know, you guys are supposed to run with it, you know? I should be able to not be here, and you guys should be able to do the show, but...
Yeah, whatever. You're our illustrious leader or something.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start off. I guess I will start off since no one wants to talk. We'll start off with the obvious thing that we should talk about, which is what changed for Hamvention 2025. Of course, we mentioned it for a couple of months beforehand, but we did get to move into Building 2, into booth 2206, right in front of Bill's K2BSA booth in 2205. And I will say that I was looking forward to that upgrade to see what Hamvention would be like with a different perspective. And at least for me, it did not disappoint. We were in a great spot. And I heard somebody mentioning, I was watching the live stream of the drawing afterwards, and somebody said that, or whoever was doing the drawing or up on stage or whatever, said that there was no rain during the open hours of Hamvention this year. And that is true. That was excellent. Except for one thing. Rain brings people to the booths.
Yeah, it does bring everybody from the outside inside, for sure.
But yeah, our booth placement was outstanding. We were basically right across from Flex Radio on that wide aisle in the back of Building 2. It was fantastic. It made me feel like I could wander a little more, hit up some of the stuff in Building 1 and Building 3. I did not make it over to Building 5, which is where we used to be. I saw who was in that space, and I was going to check them out, but Cheryl came back. Was it Sunday you said you went over there and they were gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I guess it's a good thing that I did not bother to go over there because they did not stay for Sunday. So
A lot of people don't stay for Sunday, though. That is a problem to a certain extent with Hamvention. But I know a lot of people there are just like us, where they have hours and hours to drive to get home, typically. Because we were out by noon.
Yeah,
just a shade after noon. I think we were gone. We started packing up a little after 11. We were out by a little after 12. But that being said, we stayed. we
did stay. And everything, they roll up the red carpets at 1. Is that
1
when
o'clock.
Yeah,
the bigger vendors are contractually obligated to stay until 1, so they're not supposed to be breaking down. Yeah, they're not supposed to be breaking down.
I remember
plus they have a lot more stuff to deal with anyway, so.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
We were driving in on Sunday morning, headed to the show, and we heard somebody on the radio coming in saying, I just made it in town. This will be my very first Hamvention, and I'm getting there at like 9 a.m. on Sunday. And I was like, ooh, that's going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
But, oh well. I guess you'll learn for next time, I suppose. Don't come in on Sunday if you want a real experience anyway. But we were there. We did talk to a few people on Sunday. It was very, very light. People were wandering around and stuff. But as far as the main 2 days, Friday and Saturday, I think we had, in Building 5, we got traffic in pockets. Like it'd be busy, then empty, then busy, then empty. In Building 2, it was just kind of a little bit slower, but constant, I think. Is that the impression you guys had?
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
When we had like the busy times, then it was exceedingly busy.
But it was pretty well a steady stream of traffic the whole time. So
yeah, I don't remember any like empty times. I know I wandered away from the booth, and Bill did too, and Cheryl did as well. But we always had somebody to cover, and there was pretty much always somebody to talk to. So that was good. It felt like I heard people talking, saying that the attendance was at least the same or greater, but it felt lighter for some reason. I think it was just our location, maybe.
Yeah, since we weren't so closed in, we had the wide open aisle there. It's kind of hard to really gauge traffic. But I mean, as we spoke to the Alpha Antennas vendor, they'd already sold out almost all of their stuff by Saturday.
Yeah, he said Saturday mostly, and I think he said he sold a lot of stuff on Friday, and they were working on like limited stock on Saturday. So yeah, they obviously had a good run. And I was looking. I had a coupon for an Alpha antenna, and I was looking for something to buy. And I went over there and I bandied about with them for a little bit, but I don't know anything about antennas. So I hit up Bill, and Bill's like, I don't know, all their stuff's kind of pricey, but you could get this thing here, and it's like just the ballon alone's worth the cost of admission, plus you get the $100 off, so you should buy that. And I was like, okay. So on Sunday we wandered in, and it was like, and Bill had it up on our screen, and I was like, hey, do you have one of those? And he's like, yeah, I've got one left. And it's like, well, it's mine.
And it was hand delivered.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess he's the owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. N0TES. I remember that. I don't remember his name. For some reason, the call sign Notes stuck with me. But yeah, I was ready to run over there and pick it up, and he wandered back in with it. And I was like, oh, well, thank you very much. And I spent yesterday putting that thing up in the air and using it. So I'm very happy with the Alpha antenna, especially a 160-6, end-fend half wave with, tuner, of course. It's supposed to be decent on most of the bands without a tuner, but vagaries of long wires. But it tunes up. See, the antenna I used to have, there were a couple of bands where my IC710, which will only start to match at 3-1 and come down, would not tune. I had to use an external tuner to get it to where it would match. This antenna, the IC710, will tune on anything. So that's pretty cool. And I picked up a couple of new DXCCs in the first 15 minutes of using it. I hit that DXpedition that's over in Kuwait, and then I picked up Saudi Arabia. So apparently I had some good propagation on it into the Mideast. So that was pretty cool. Now the real test will be if I can pick up China, because I have never been able to pick up China on any antenna I've ever had. So,
well, that'll be the final test, right?
Right. That'll be the nail in the coffin for that. But anyway, it seems to be performing really well. It's much easier to put up and take down than my other antenna, and no more folded masts and having to guy crap and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it worked really well. It's funny. I went out to string up the far end into a tree, of course. So I had some fishing line, and I put a screw into a tennis ball, and I tied the fishing line around the screw, and I tried to throw the tennis ball up into a tree, and I can't throw for crap. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to get this thing up in the tree? And then I was like, as I was thinking about it, I started twirling the tennis ball around, and I was like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. So I did the whole like twirl it around like a lasso thing, and then whipped it up into the tree, and that actually worked perfect. It only took like 3 tosses, and I had it. So
Nice.
yeah. So I pulled it down, hung it with paracord, did it up the way they suggested in the manual, which is like a postcard, and yeah. Works great. Can't complain whatsoever. And I see Darren typing. He's going to be like, well, you haven't worked Australia yet. I was like,
yeah, I know. That's why I told him, Darren. He should use a fishing rod with a weighted sinker.
Yes, I do not own a fishing rod.
No, don't fish
I
right
own
here.
a tennis ball. I do not own a fishing rod. It would have cost me more money to buy the fishing rod.
But you have a tennis racket? You could have racketed it up.
No.
No, I don't have a tennis racket either.
I think what he did is he stole one of the dog's tennis balls.
I did. It's been out in the shop for like 10 years. But yeah, the tennis ball thing and the paracord worked absolutely perfectly. No complaints whatsoever. So, and now I'm back on the air. So excellent. All right. I've talked enough about Hamvention. Somebody else can pick it up from here for a few minutes.
Yeah, I did some walking around a little bit. I did walk over into Building 5 on, I think it was Saturday. I think I snuck away for a quick bit just to kind of take a quick run through the building and stuff like that. So I did see the vendor that was in that spot, and they seem to be getting traffic, in Building 5. So I was like, yeah, I don't really miss it. It seems so small. And when I went in there too, and I'm like, it's so nice to be in Building 2. And then I went over and talked with Neil Rapp. He was over at the Utes on radio or whatever, Yoda. Youth on the Air, talking about their camp that's coming up here real quick in Colorado. So that was really cool to see him and chat with him briefly. And gee, what else? Yeah, I mean, the usual suspects were all there. Kenwood, of course, was there. ICOM, Yezu. I got my Yezu hat. Got to get the official souvenir of Hamvention is the Yezu hat, right? Yeah, the attendance looked pretty full. All the vendor booths tended to have people in front of them or talking to them. I didn't see many of them getting neglected. But yeah, come Saturday. Oh geez, Saturday evening. We're definitely seeing the pack-ups already occur. And, that's just an unfortunate side effect of such a long event. You have a really busy Friday and Saturday, and a lot of groups don't want to put in that third day, probably because especially like clubs and stuff like that, they're running on volunteers, and other groups probably are international. It's also like one of the international clubs was out too on Sunday, probably traveling and stuff like that. So not totally unusual. Thursday setup went really well. I thought it was really nice. The only horrible weather day, I guess, would be Friday because it was hot. But Saturday and Sunday were just absolutely gorgeous. So it was an amazing time to be at Hamvention with that weather. It was really nice, and it was really nice on setup day too. I think Thursday was pretty cool. wasn't terribly hot.
No, you got that backwards. Thursday was horrible.
Was it?
And Friday was okay. Saturday and Sunday was great.
Friday afternoon, it got really hot in Building 2.
Yeah, I think that's when the wind stopped blowing. And apparently Saturday, I skipped Hamvention, but you guys apparently had tornadic winds rolling through the building all day because the sign got ripped down and
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you weren't there on Saturday, so yeah, the wind picked up and came through those big garage doors on the side of Building 2 and just kind of blew the poles and signs and stuff like that all around. We kept losing our little tiny, hanging sign. But for the most part, everything else stayed up. The group next to us, the Quarter Century Wireless Club, had all their paperwork and receipts blowing all over Building 2 because they were taking the brunt of the wind there at their booth. But I had a great time. It was fun. I was happy to depart on Sunday. I was like, yes, getting on the road. Time to go home. Of course, I was gone for 2 weeks, so it was like I was real happy to be heading in the home direction. So That's pretty much all I have for it. I mean, the new hotel that we were at, even though it's not specifically Hamvention related, it was great. Great location, easy to get in and out of Hamvention coming from the north side. It was fine. A lot of kids there. They had some baseball tournament going on at the same time, so there was kids coming in and out on buses and everything else. So a lot of traffic, especially in the pool. What was that, like Saturday night or something like that? Saturday.
Yeah, well, we managed to get in there on Friday when nothing was happening, and we had the thing to ourselves for an hour, and then we never saw the pool again because it
was packed with kids. Yeah.
Just kids everywhere, because apparently there was like baseball and soccer going on at the same time, and they were all there. So
I heard that there was a cheerleading thing too.
Oh, geez, yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, so no, it was really good. That new hotel is excellent. There's a lot of food that's right there handy, so it's a great place to go. And yeah, we went in via the what you'd call the back route, I guess, 235 to 68. So that takes you right into the vendor side of the expo, so you don't have to go around the front.
Yep.
Which super handy. And for us, as far as leaving on Sunday, we were out by 12, and we were in St. Louis by 4 something because of the time change, and it was like, wow, we're here already. So that worked out really well. Then we got to see a baseball game on Monday.
Yeah, Darren's asking how far in advance did we have to book the hotel?
We booked the hotel as soon as it becomes available. Like
like
Cheryl
a year in advance.
Calendar in like a week. She's going to try and book it. So
yeah, next Sunday I will book the hotel for next year.
Yeah,
because if you wait much longer after that, they find out about the dates, and the hotel prices essentially double. So
yeah, you have to book it essentially as soon as they become available. That's pretty much mandatory, unless you want to pay through the nose or stay in Cincinnati.
Which is only 70-ish miles away, but it would be the same distance same distance to stay in Columbus too. So
I will say we did see many of our listeners, of course. Tony and Jill, who are in the chat tonight, were there. You talked with one of our new listeners. What's his call sign ends in like UUU, something like that?
Who?
Oh,
Bill.
Oh, geez, I don't know. I talked to so many people. Is that the KD0UUU, Tim?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was there, into our NRV or something like that was there too.
NRV, yeah. Ed and 2X, what is Ed's call sign? I forget.
XXD or something?
XDD, N2XDD?
Something like that.
Don
terrible
was
calls
there.
and names. Don,
Don. KC9 ZMY.
ZMY.
Yeah, ZMY. And many, many more. Too many to count. Oh, and Tom, and I guess I have to do it now, right? And for hi.
Oh yeah, he stopped by.
Both the Scots, N8 VSI, and the other one, the one with his kid, he was there.
Yeah,
Edgaroo,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess
she's not a kid anymore.
Who?
Victoria stopped by.
Oh, Victoria, yes, absolutely. She was there.
I think I was at the other booth when she came by. So
I think
it was just Russ and I. Yeah.
Lots of people. Saw lots of people. I'm sorry if we didn't mention your name and you stopped by, but we remember. We just can't name everyone.
We had quite a few listeners too that were not on the Discord too that stopped by and chatted and stuff like that. Because they said, "Oh, I'm a listener." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Looking at the call sign, I'm like, "I don't recognize that."
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Maybe they have some incognito name or something like that, that we're not aware of on Discord or whatever. But it was still very cool to see everyone in person and kind of make that connection.
Oh, and Sebastian stopped by too. I guess we cannot forget to mention him, the creator of Polo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. And you also went over and talked to Munir, right?
I did talk to Munir from FreeDV. Yeah, that was on Sunday because somebody came by, stopped by the booth and said, "Hey, have you heard about this new thing FreeDV is doing?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, they're over in Building 1 talking about it." And I was like, "They are?" So I ran over and talked to Munir. So that was cool. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Bobby from Ham Source, who stops by. He's been a listener for a long, long time. He always comes by the booth and stuff. So we saw him a few times, I think. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, and as far as the booth itself, we sort of get about the same amount of donations from the foot traffic that comes through Hamvention. And because of our subscribers now and the donations that come in at the booth, I mean, I hope I'm not jinxing anything by saying this, but it looks like we're pretty much self-sustaining on that. So the days of the fundraisers and all that kind of stuff, those are over. And between
find some wood to knock on, right?
Yeah, this is like Kia wood, which is probably cardboard, so I don't know if that counts, but yeah, I think we're pretty safe in saying that our supporters are very helpful in that regard, and of course the traffic we get from Hamvention is fantastic. Everyone, we brought almost 40, I think, of the USB sticks that we put Ventoy on them, and and of course Andy stopped by.
Andy's. Yep, Andy stopped by.
We put a couple of distros on there, including our own, and we sold all but, well, I shouldn't say sold. We gave away all but 7 of them. So hopefully a lot of new folks are out there experiencing Linux for the first time and giving it a shot based on that. So that's really cool as well. In the hotel room, we all brought whiskey because Bill was in Kentucky before, so he brought some stuff. He brought some stuff from Montana. I brought some stuff from here, and we had a good old time. And I'm going to be talking about what Bill brought from Montana here in a second. But
nice.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I had a great time this year. Cheryl bugged out on Saturday so she could rest up and be fresh as a daisy, but next year, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll make it back to Kentucky next year before we head up there, and that will be cool. But I'm definitely looking forward to being back in Building 2 in 2026. We hope everybody who couldn't make it this year makes it next year. And before we stop talking about Hamvention, we haven't really heard Cheryl's take on it. So let's hear your take.
It was Hamvention.
Yes, it was.
It was. I like the new booth better in most aspects. The only con to the booth is the booth in in Building 5 didn't have anybody next to him, so I could there was a door there, so I could kind of veg out outside the booth instead of Russ and Bill's way. This booth, we don't have that option. So it's kind of a tight squeeze for me to be in the booth with Russ and Bill and all of our other junk. But we made it work. The Crossberries was nice. And it didn't seem, I went to Building 5 to just kind of refresh my mind on the building and the booth. And that the whole building would probably fit in the area of Building 2 where across from the aisle from us. The building is not very big, and they have a lot of people crammed in that building. And one thing that we had a problem with in the past with the old building was that there would be congestion because the aisles are tiny. Where this one, there was never that kind of congestion. There was, a huge aisle, massive aisle. So there was lots of room for people to move around. People visiting in the booth next door didn't infringe on our space and vice versa. So that was nice. So I'm actually, other than the smaller footprint basically that limits me, I'm actually really like the new booth. So,
and I was reminded this year that I was told last year that Ham Radio Deluxe is being rewritten in Linux. So we're going to see if we, as a podcast, are going to be talking about the open source Linux-based HRD before 2026. So keep that on your radar.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I mean, we shouldn't flog this dead horse anymore, I suppose. We do hope that folks who didn't see us or couldn't make it to 2025 will be there in 2026. We, of course, as we have already stated, we'll definitely be there. We have our new booth. We have our, we'll be able to accommodate it because of the wondrous people who donate to the show and donate at Hamvention. We really appreciate it, all you guys. And that keeps the ball rolling so we can be there every single year. And we really appreciate it. And with that, I guess we should get on into some hedonism. Unless anybody has anything else to wrap up with.
No, sounds good.
No.
Did you buy anything?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. At Hamvention. Did you buy anything?
No, I did not.
I bought Bill a name tag to stay in the Ham. Yes, it's in the Hamvention stuff. I picked it up Sunday right before we left.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you didn't give it to me. Good thing. Good thing you didn't give it to me.
Because you take it home and lose it again.
Exactly.
You'll probably find your name tag like, I don't know, Christmas. Then you'll lose it again.
Why don't you just keep the one you bought him this time? We'll keep it with us. Therefore,
it is with us. Yeah. No. Bill has his name tag at home somewhere. He can find it eventually.
Then I have a booth one, so there you go.
And you have a booth one, so
it's with all the booth stuff. So it won't
yeah. So
all right, very good. So anyway, let's get on into some hedonism. And of course, we always start with food when we do hedonism. So we'll bring Cheryl on board here to talk about the food that she and I partook of last night.
Yeah. So I was looking for a new recipe, and I've stumbled across one for Portuguese pork. It looked interesting, so I thought, okay, what the heck? Let's give it a spin. So Russ gave it a 2 thumbs up, said I should definitely do it for the recipe corner tonight. So here it is. For the Portuguese pork, you need minced garlic, kosher salt, olive oil, ground black pepper, coarse ground black pepper. That's imperative. Some pork tenderloin, red bell peppers that have been julienned, some white wine, some lemon juice, and a thinly sliced lemon for garnish if you want it. So, and the whole recipe, it's super quick and super easy to do, except you need a few hours to marinate it. But otherwise, cooking and stuff quick. So read the show notes to get the full recipe. And then for my drink corner, I've picked the Morangasca, which is a strawberry vodka Portuguese cocktail. It has strawberries, sugar, ice, and some vodka, and that's it. You muddle your strawberries and sugar together and dump it over some ice with some vodka, and you've got a drink. So
I thought we'd get a huckleberry vodka recipe. Jeez.
I know, but I don't think they have huckleberries in Portugal.
Oh,
Maybe they do, but yeah, I'll have to dig out some sort of huckleberry cocktail recipe and have that next time. So since Bill brought me a bottle of huckleberry vodka from Montana, or Montucky as he likes to call
Montucky.
it. So
all right, yeah, just keep that in mind for the next weekender. We might be talking about being your huckleberry or something.
Yeah, I'm your huckleberry.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, so for my drink, I'm going to talk about one of the whiskeys that Bill brought to Hamvention, and this one he brought actually all the way from Montucky, and this is the Undammed Distilleries Shields River American Single Malt. And according to the website, I'm just going to read the little blurb they had here, because if you click on the Learn More link on the website, you get a YouTube video. And I wasn't going to transcribe that, so the little blurb says, Shields River is one of the few remaining waterways that maintains the name given by the Corporation of Discovery, named after John Shields, the expedition's blacksmith. This limited release American single malt whiskey is bottled at cask strength and very complex, with notes of leather, tobacco, caramel, vanilla, and a hint of smoke. And we partook of this at Hamvention on what day did we drink? Was it Friday night? Saturday night?
I think it was Friday night.
I think it was Friday night. Yeah. And I think we both were kind of impressed by it. So the mash bill on it is 100% malted barley, because it is an American single malt. It's not a Scotch, but it tastes very much like a Scotch, as it should, being of the same grain. It comes out of Billings, Montana, as we've already discussed. It's bottled at 120 proof, or 60% ABV. The color on it is a light honeyed caramel, and the nose is really, really nice. Cream, citrus, leather, honey, raspberry, and fig. And the taste on it is almost even better. It has a very Scotch-like essence to it, but there are notes of caramel, vanilla, leather, tobacco, a zesty malt quality, almost like a salty malt, if you will. A little hay and a mild iodine, which I guess they say it has a hint of smoke. I think you could equate those two in the tasting note. And then on the finish, it has a lingering barrel and hay note with some vanilla, wood tannins, and a touch of cocoa. So I think it's even better today than it was that night. So I am enjoying it, and I will enjoy more of it as the night goes on. I had to leave the price blank here because I don't remember what Bill said he paid for it. So what did you pay for it?
I can't remember. I think it was probably like 70.
Okay.
Something
So
like that.
I would
65 or 70, something like that.
Okay, well, being that that's the case, I would say this is well worth that money because it's a very good American single malt, and I'm giving it a rating of 91. So in the low 90s, very respectable, and I will definitely enjoy this until the bottle is gone.
Nice. Yeah, it was very tasty. Very tasty.
And it stood up quite well to the cigar because I believe I had this with the cigar as well.
Yep, we sure did.
That's what we had. Yep. So yeah, very
perfect.
good.
Perfect with the cigar.
Absolutely. So do you have anything?
No, thinking of it, I should have brought that bottle from the Whiskey Thief because that was really good. But I didn't bring that. I'm drinking a Coors Light, and I just finished my my Cameroon nub cigar. So that was my weekender stuff that I brought to the table this evening. So nothing spectacular with the beer, just a simple, refreshing Coors Light.
Very good. I have been enjoying. I recently discovered the Herrera Esteli Brazilian Maduro, which I had not had before, and then I had it in a sampler, I think, and then I bought some more of them because they're really, really quite good. So I have been enjoying those of late. I haven't found a lot to like from Drew Estate lately since they've gotten rid of a lot of the stuff that I really did enjoy, and I don't like paying the prices for like Undercrowns and Liga Privadas and stuff like that. But these Herrera Estelis, especially this Brazilian Maduro, is outstanding. So, and not very pricey. All right. Well, that brings us down to the end of the show, except for some social media stuff, which we are going to let Cheryl cover. I got some feedback a while back, and I can't remember if we talked about it or not. I got an email. It was a follow-up about the thing saying that I didn't talk about it, but I thought we did. It was the thing from the ORI about his corrections about our discussion on...
Oh, yeah. I thought you'd mentioned that already.
Did we talk about that on the show? I thought we did, and he said he didn't hear it. So I didn't know if that was me or him.
Well, I mean, you can repeat it. It won't kill us,
No, I will, and I will do it on the next show because I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, stay tuned. There will be feedback on the follow-up episode here.
Yeah, I don't see it in the show notes, but I'm almost certain that you talked about it. But yeah, we can talk about it. We will talk about it again, and hopefully I can actually get in touch with him and bring him on the show and talk with him about it, which would actually be much more interesting. So anyway, with that, no feedback. The announcements, of course, we'll let Cheryl handle, and the social media roundup. So
Okay. So for our announcements, as always, help us support the show by using Patreon, PayPal, buying merch, giving us some topics to discuss, visiting our YouTube channel. And thanks to everybody that stopped by at Hamvention. We'll see you there May 15th through the 17th of 2026. So, and for our new subscribers, new supporters, and live participants, we didn't have any subscribers and Patreons this week. A free Patreon we had was George Lee. Nobody joined us on Facebook. On Twitter, we had @RoundNoon. No one on Instagram. For Mastodon, we had John, W8FAA, and Mike, KF4BOG. On Blue Sky, we had Ralph, DL1EL. On the mailing list, we had Second.Law. On Discord, we had Martel Queris, A Crow, Kenneth, Yai Sunshine, Plushy, Mike KF4BOG, and Ralph KC3VII. No one on YouTube. And in the live chat, we have Punit, BU2TUM, Mike K6GTE, Jill K1TTZ, Darren BK6EK, Steve KJ5T, Tony K4XSS, and Adam K3CAN.
All right. Did we get Mike? Yeah, we got Mike. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we had everybody in there. So that brings us down to the end of the program tonight. Hopefully this wasn't too boring, since it was just a wrap-up of Hamvention 2025, which if you were there, you kind of knew what went on, and if you weren't, hopefully it was at least a somewhat interesting listen, and hopefully we've enticed you enough to come and see us in 2026. In the meantime, we'll be doing our regular broadcast programming every week between now and May of 2026. And we hope you'll come along for that ride as well. Thanks to everybody who listens to the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks to all of our supporters who help us out financially, keep the lights on, and keep us going to Hamvention. We really appreciate all of you as well. And in the meantime, we'll send you back to whatever it was you were doing, and we hope we'll catch you on the next episode, which will be a deep dive into something. And we'll let you know as soon as we know, I suppose. So with that, we're going to get on out of here. This has been episode number 581, the 129th edition of The Weekender here on Linux in the Ham Shack. And I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Live recordings are Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Central Time. Our homepage can be found at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast via Patreon at patreon.com/LHS podcast. We're also on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Mastodon. Contact us via email at info@lhspodcast.info or via voicemail at 190954777469. That's 1909 LHS show. We also have merch. So until next we meet, remember to always heed your hedonism.